in the NRLW for the second time.
Glorious stroke to bring up a glorious 100.
Hello and welcome to Wide World of Sports. I'm Nick McCardle. Joining us this week on the desk, it is Mark Taylor, Ellie Cole and Gus Wallen. Hello, Gus. Are you all right, Gus?
I'm not well. It's just such a disappointing night, wasn't it? You were there, so let's talk about it as soon as possible, please. Let's get this frustration from the Lions out.
All right, we will attempt to do that in just a moment. But right now, let's have a look at what's coming up on today's show. Australia's best swimmers and the world's best head-to-head at the World Championships in Singapore. Swimming royalty Ariane Titmus joins us in the studio. 4 rounds to go in the AFL. Time to get moving. The Suns sound a warning in the Q Clash as the Giants end the Swans season. Toby Green in trouble yet again. Jimmy Bartell joins us from Melbourne. Here's something special. We sit down with one of our greatest Winter Olympians, Tora Bright. The Winter Olympics on 9, only 194 days away. And he's the world's best male triathlete. Matt Hauser joins us live, the world champs in Wollongong, just around the corner. All of that and a whole lot more over the next hour, right here on Wide World of Sports. Yes, all of that coming your way, but let's get to it. It was an incredible test match at the MCG last night in front of 90,000. That is a world record crowd for a Lions test match. The Wallabies, they will wake up this morning devastated, still feeling like they were robbed after that controversial finish. And the Lions, well, they will win the series.
Australia's greatest sporting arena host, arguably the Wallabies' biggest test match in over a decade. Everything on the line in Melbourne.
We're going to keep the series alive. We're on. Touch more fire and Skelton's not having any of it. Restarts and launches. Gordon calling for runners. He dummies and goes himself. Jakey Gordon finds a way. He's down now. Sua'ali'i kicks out of one and finds Tom Wright on the angle. This is about as good as it gets from the Wallabies. Holds up Conan on the angle, Curry's out wide, he works his way infield and scores. There for Keenan, oh that's a good ball, can they hold up? Jones, the answer's no.
Once again, just before half-time.
This is it, the series on a knife edge.
Gibson Park, on they come, Freeman!
There it is, on the neck. You cannot do that. This try will be disallowed.
Both of them play rugby at the same time in a dynamic ruck. Player is wrapping. We don't see any foreplay. Try stand.
The end is a penalty to the Wallabies, and the referees were too weak to give it. The referees have got it wrong. It is a terrible decision that decides this match.
Morgan Turinui very, very strong there at the end of that test match last night. So, yes, it is the British and Irish Lions. They have won the series. The Wallabies are devastated this morning. We'll be talking to Tate McDermott a little bit later. But you can see it there, and what Morgan said about the contact to the head, it's above the shoulder. To the letter of the law, it should not have been a try.
And I think that's the problem, particularly from a Wallabies Australian point of view. That's the problem, isn't it? It's such a technical game, rugby union. And it's administered, it's refereed very technically for 70 minutes, and then you get down to that. And if you look at the techniques of the game, and obviously Morgan Turinui knows them better than I do, he says that should have been a penalty. And I tend to agree with him, that should have been a penalty.
It was lovely to hear a commentator be a fan for a moment, you know, because Morg's just lost it there for a moment, but rightly so. He loves the game. The referee got it wrong, and not just the ref. I mean, he's been running around for nearly 80 minutes. The bloke up in the stands has every opportunity. He's been sitting there in air conditioning all night. He's got to get that right. Even before the neck, he's off his feet. So that's first penalty. Second penalty is simple. So that game's done and dusted. But in saying that, we sound like a bunch of whingers, don't we? We sound like we actually are Lions supporters. At the end of the day, it was a fantastic night, 90,000 people, and, you know, they are bringing quite a spectacle to Australia. But we should be going to Sydney 1-1. It's as simple as that, and it's a real shame that that's the case because we stepped up so well in that second match after being really poor in the first test.
Absolutely, and you know, we had a fantastic lead as well in that first half, but as you mentioned there, Gussie, there were not only just one infringement there, but two, and there's multiple point of contact there, and there was multiple chances for those refs to have a check. So not surprising to hear that Morgan Turinui, as well as the rest of Australia, are asking for a please explain on what actually has happened here. Very, very disappointing result for the Wallabies and the series, and obviously a great result for the Lions.
Well, when you say the rest of Australia is asking for a please explain, so too is Wallaby coach Joe Schmidt not happy.
We led for 79 minutes, and I couldn't quite believe that we didn't get a decision at the end to lead for 80. But yeah, I think it was described as arriving at the same time, and we can all see that's not the case. And we can all see clear contact with the back of the neck, which you know, might be a different decision on another day at another time. And I think, you know, at that time it wasn't the decision we got.
I think that's the point, isn't it? And Michael Hooper said it post-match as well, and he is our most capped Wallaby skipper. And that is, Gus, that if that incident had happened in the first minute of the match, it probably would have been a penalty, but in a way, the referee bottled it. It's 79th minute, massive moment, has decided to play it safe.
It's easy to make the call in the first minute, isn't it? But it's hard to make it there. That was going to be the last play of the game. We get the penalty, we kick it out, it's 1-1 Done and dusted, we come to Sydney. That was such a huge call. I'm not blaming the ref as much as the bloke upstairs who has all the angles. We could see it right there. They never got to the same place at the same time. The Aussie bloke was there earlier, then the line came in. That should have been the end of it. Plus, and of course, of the attack on the neck as well. I looked up all the English papers and stuff today, and of course they're saying nothing to see here, done and dusted. At last, the Wallabies stepped up, but we showed that we're better than them. It's just so frustrating. And then, Tubby, they came out and said that could be a second series at the end of the year where the English can beat us in another series, i.e. the Ashes. Yeah. So that got me really fired up.
Okay, we'll get to that later.
Yeah, you are a little bit fired up, Gus, and it's very good to see.
It's super annoying when things that should be so clear and so professionally done aren't done properly.
We'll talk some more about all of that with Tate McDermott a little bit later in the hour. Tubby, cricket, what was your worst streak as the skipper with the toss?
I honestly, I didn't have a real bad one, so therefore I couldn't say. I might have lost 3 in a row somewhere, would be my worst record with the toss. But generally, I think I did 50 tests and I won 26 of them, so that's not bad.
Very solid. Well, yeah, let's have a look here. India losing their 14th toss in a row, Tubbs. 14th toss in a row. And of course, Stokes goes, yeah, no worries, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And of course, they're in charge now of that test match.
They might throw someone else out there to toss the coin.
Well, maybe.
I've seen other sides do that when their captain has a bad run. Yeah.
So 14 in a row. Yeah. Gus, did that get you thinking?
It got me thinking about my top 5
Did it, Gus?
Yeah, so let's calm down, take a deep breath, and let's get into a little bit of fun. Let's talk about the top 5 of good, bad and weird streaks. Alex Twal, number 5. So he's a West Tigers and Lebanon player. Has not scored a try in 116 games. And there he is. And just watch all his mates get around him. That's just not a try. That's a try of a bloke. And look at the smile on his face. He has now scored 2 in 160 games. What about this? Carl Ripken Jr., 2,632 consecutive MLB games. 16 years, all with the Baltimore Orioles. Nicknamed the Iron Man. He's a shortstop, third baseman, 19-time All-Star and 2-time Golden Glove. Imagine playing 2,632 games in a row without injury. The Australian women's one-day team, absolute guns, of course, probably the team with the Matildas that we love the most here in Australia. They had 26 wins in a row, of course, winning World Cups at all different formats and, you know, just brilliant role models on and off the pitch. And just won them 26 in a row. What about this? Edward Moses, 122 wins in a row in the 400 metres hurdles. World records ×4, 2 Olympic golds and 2 World Cup golds as well. He was unbeaten for a decade in a race that obviously that has so much going on with those hurdles. And number 1, Khan, the Pakistani squash player, the greatest Pakistani sportsman of all time. Have a look at this. 555 consecutive wins back-to-back. 555. He is the number 1, perhaps greatest sportsman of all time, certainly when it comes to squash. So there is some good, bad and weird streaks. And today, Nathan Lyon came out. He's bowled 34,504 balls without bowling a no ball.
The stat man
that's
here.
number 6.
34,504 balls without a no ball.
You said it was good, bad and weird, but they were mostly pretty good.
They were pretty good, yeah. The weird one, I suppose, is Nathan Lyon, which I only got this morning off the newspaper, having my Vegemite toast.
Nicely done, Gussie. Thank you very much. Love you to stick around. A short break. More Wide World of Sports on its way. Yannick Sinner rehires the fitness coach who was in charge when he tested positive for anabolic steroids. Many in the tennis world can't quite believe it. We'll talk NRL with Billy Slater, the Bulldogs and Manly toe-to-toe this afternoon on 9, and we cross live to Wallaby Camp in Melbourne. We'll look at the dramatic and controversial end to the second test at the MCG. Great to have your company this morning. Let's check on AFL from overnight. And in the Western Derby, Fremantle dominated a tense clash against the Eagles to run out 49-point winners at Optus Stadium. The Dockers controlled large periods of this game with little challenge from their crosstown rivals. The Eagles' loss made worse by a suspected ankle injury to young gun Harley Reid. Not good signs. And Geelong forward Jeremy Cameron kicked a career-high 11 goals in Geelong's 101-point demolition of North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Bailey Smith was back to his best form for the Cats, who now sit back inside the top 4 with the Crows, Collingwood and the Brisbane Lions. Western Bulldogs are the only side outside the 8 still in the hunt with 4 rounds remaining. So it is tight at the top, as we say. A very good morning to Jimmy Bartell, who joins us from Melbourne. Let's start with the showdown in Adelaide, Jimmy, and, well, a big win for the Crows. Ken Hinkley's last crack at the Crows didn't really turn out like he might have wanted.
No, Nick, we thought they'd rely on a bit of the emotion of Ken Hinkley, and they've done that over their journey when Ken Hinkley's been coach. He can strike big emotional reactions from out of his team, but this is the biggest margin in a showdown, no matter where they've been on the ladder in their history. They've always been close and tough encounters, but when they've got Riley Thilthorpe there, man, 6'7", wheeling on the left foot and slotting it through, there's not much you can do. The big forwards actually did really well in the conditions for the Crows. 12 different goal kickers, and they are humming along, and they are looking for a top 2 finish. The Crows and Port Adelaide, their season's just going to probably peter out now, and it's up to some players to impress the new coach coming in, who's already sitting in their coaching box in Josh Carr.
Jimmy, the Premiers, the Lions, got an absolute lesson in the Q clash. Incredible form by the Suns. What did you make of that big win?
Yeah, I think it was one of those ones, if you weren't watching the game, that's an amazing hanger there from Jasper Fletcher. But if you weren't watching the game, you go, have they got the scores wrong? Because they just kept piling on goals, the Gold Coast Suns. And this is sort of the result that we've been looking for from the Suns. A really strong 4-quarter performance against a good side, a really, really good side in the Brisbane Lions, in the Pineapple Grapple, of course, up there in Queensland. I think the Lions will be fine. I think this said more about the Suns, their depth, and they've got a bit more grunt under the hood this year.
And Jimmy, in the Sydney clash, my Swans were outclassed in the second half, and Toby Green's comments at halftime seemed to have an influence on that game.
Yeah, it's amazing you admit that you're a Swan supporter today, Tubby. And I think Toby might have just channeled a little bit of a sledge directed your way to Tom Papley at halftime. Take a listen.
Tom Papley's got a little bit to say in the first half, just there. A little bit of feeling in this one.
Yeah, he's looking overweight. We'll see how he goes second half.
Mate, good luck.
Toby Green there just saying Tom Papley might be a little bit chunky to get through the second half, but it certainly inspired the Giants. They played one of the most breathtaking quarters we've seen all year. They piled on goal after goal in the third quarter after the Swans looked like they were going to march away with a big win. And this is half-time, which then led to those comments. And no wonder the Swans were up and about. They were 28-point lead, but then Finn Callahan, the rosy cheek assassin, just sparked the Giants. They were kicking them from the boundary line from 60 metres out. Really flex their muscle. When Toby Bedford's kicking them from there, you know you're on fire. So the Giants had to get that win when you showed the ladder a little bit before. It's one of the tightest races to the finals. You're going to probably need 14 to 15 wins to get in this year.
Now, Jimmy, it's a sad day. It's Carlton's Sam Docherty playing his final match of AFL, but the former skipper, he's had to overcome quite a lot of difficulties in his career.
Yeah, Ali, this is one of the more remarkable stories in sport. I know we love to overplay things. He got his goal in his last ever game, but that man there has overcome 3 ACL, knee reconstructions, so you wipe out 3 years and then 2 bouts of cancer where he had chemo. It's just been an extraordinary, it's been an inspiring story. You talk about Carlton fans admire and respect him, but that is shared across the entire league. 183 games. Hopefully I got that number right. It was around that, but he's been an absolute warrior to the truest sense, and he should be incredibly proud of what he's done with his footy career.
Yeah, an absolute legend. 184 games, so you're close there.
Oh, I forgot the last one there.
What about 11 goals for a Geelong absolute legend, Cameron getting it done? That's a career high for him, and of course they had an easy win over the Kangas.
Yeah, easy wins, all right, Gus. Absolutely smoked the Kangaroos. They played them like they were an under-9 side. But the focus was on Bailey Smith, how well he can go for his charge to a Brownlow. Who he had 43 and kicked 2 and won't get the 3 votes because that man kicked 11 goals. Now, while that's fascinating, is he's got 4 more games. He plays Essendon, who are down to their boot starters playing. Port Adelaide, whose season's done, he kicked 7 against. He's got Richmond and Tubby Swans, of course. And then he's got 3 finals. He's only got 31 more to kick to get 100. So we're on the ton watch. He'll win the Coleman medal, of course, but hopefully he can get 100 goals this season.
He is on track. Jimmy, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, guys.
Jimmy Bartell from Melbourne. All right, we are going to nudge a couple of quick singles, Tubby, and nudging quick singles is not something that Tim David has been doing.
No, Tim David, I don't think he hit a single. He hit 11 sixes and I think it was 6 fours the other night in the third T20 match for Australia. They chased down 215 in 16 overs and he brought up 100 in 37 balls, Tim David, which is now the new Australian record. He went past Josh Inglis in that innings, but chased down that with 4 overs to spare.
Legend.
Now, look, I'm going to take it over to Gout. We do have to do a Gout watch. He has signalled his intention to be part of the Commonwealth Games team next year. He had initially been expected to prioritise the World Junior titles in the US, where he did want to emulate the great Usain Bolt, who won that back in 2002, but he's now going to contest the Commonwealth 100 in Glasgow before heading off to those World Champs.
Cannot wait to watch his career unfold. What about this one? The world #1 at the moment. He has rehired the man that he sacked after he got done for doping, which is hugely controversial. Pretty much a year to the day from his split with Alberto Ferreira, he has put him back on his team. So that is not going to stop everyone talking about that. Nick Kyrgios this week in particular has been fired right up.
Oh, I'm going back to cricket again. And it's probably not so good news from an Australian point of view. Joe Root still doing great things with the bat, still enjoying his cricket, made his 38th 100 in the Old Trafford Test match only a couple of nights ago. He's now gone past Ricky Ponting to number 2 on the all-time run scorers list. He's only, and I say only, 2,500 runs short of Tendulkar. And at the age of 34, he can still get there.
Still got to do it here in Australia, though.
Hasn't made 100 here.
No,
he's not. Definitely keeping our eyes on that. But this week, we've got some great news coming in from our Opals. Australia surviving a late comeback here from Japan to win the Women's Asian Cup for the first time. This is incredible news, obviously, for our basketball team off the back of the Paris Olympics. The previous best finish at the Asian Cup for our Opals was a silver, so great to see them step one up again.
Nicely done, team. They are our quick singles, and we're going to get to a quick break right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. As the best swimmers on the planet descend on Singapore for the World Championships, we've got one right here in the studio. We'll look at Australia's best chances with Ariarne Titmus one-on-one with Ellie Cole shortly. A big test match on the biggest stage last night at the MCG, marred by a controversial finish. The Wallabies left devastated. We're live to Wallaby camp for all the fallout next. And Matt Hauser, the best male triathlete on the planet, joins us live, fresh from one of the best wins of his career in Hamburg. Stick around, that's not far away on Wide World of Sports.
3 swimmers to have gone under 4 minutes. Might they beat 3:55 here? 400 freestyle final. The race with such anticipation. Ariarne starting to pull through the field, and she'll be right up there. And you can see Ariarne, she's trying to take this race out, and she leads by about a third of a body length here at the moment.
So Arnie keeping a very close eye on what Summer McIntosh is doing over there.
She's extended her lead. A nation roars in anticipation. Titmus turns with 100 metres to swim now, and have a look at this for dominance. Ariarne is more than a body length ahead. McIntosh might have swum her race here. Ledecky's starting to pull through the field, but Arnie, she looks like she's got one hand on the gold medal. Come on, Arnie! Australia roars! She's ahead of the world record! This is one of the greatest performances Australia has ever seen! Ariarne Titmus has pulled away and completely dominated for gold in world record time! Arnie is back on top of the world!
Under 3:56, first person in the world to ever do that. What a brilliant performance from Ariarne.
Oh, have you seen anything as dominant as that, Gian Rooney?
I did not see that playing out that way.
Well, that is a race you can watch over and over and over again. Three of the greats, and Ariarne Titmus joins us in the studio with Ellie Cole.
Well, how lucky are we to have Ariarne Titmus joining us here, who will be covering the World Swimming Championships, which start tonight. Arnie, watching that race, it made my heart rate go up, just as it did when we watched it a few years ago at World Champs. Now, you must be super excited. It's all kicking off tonight with the 400-metre freestyle, but it does look a little different this year. We have Summer McIntosh, Katie Ledecky, but Lani Pallister.
Absolutely. It's going to be quite strange to not be there, but it's exciting to be a fan. Two swimmers, Summer and Katie, both in world record form this year, which is incredible off the back of an Olympic Games. And Lani, another swimmer to go under that 4-minute sub swim. So she's going to be right in the mix as well.
You must be super excited. It's like Christmas for us, right? But if we look at the swim team this year, we do have a lot of rookies on the team. Obviously, Sienna Tui taking Australia by storm at the trials and qualifying for an Australian swim team at 16. How daunting do you think that's going to be for her, and what kind of advice would you be giving to Sienna?
Yeah, well, I was 16 at my first World Swimming Championships too, and I remember I just wanted to soak it all up. Go there, learn as much as you can from the older girls. Her goal should be to make the semi-final and get that final experience and use the crowd, use the atmosphere, and learn about what the other athletes around her do and take it as much from the experience as possible. Not put too much pressure on herself and just try and swim it like any usual sort of race.
That's so much easier said than done, because everyone that makes an Australian team for the first time, they just want to win. So we're looking forward to seeing Sienna. And another race we're really looking forward to is our relay team. Obviously, Australia being very dominant across the board in our relays, but our team makeup is a little bit different this year. How do you think the relay teams are going to fare over in Singapore?
Yeah, it does look a lot different. We've had a few retirements post-Olympics, and there's a few athletes like myself that are taking a break, and we're so lucky that we have an incredible crop of athletes coming through, especially on the women's side, to make up the bulk of the team. But we have to also keep our expectations realistic, and the Americans are looking very good with their relays, and we're going to still have a good showing, but I think it's going to be a little bit tougher than in past years.
Now, speaking of having a good showing, we have a lot of experienced athletes on the team as well. What race are you looking forward to watching?
I'm looking forward to the men's 50 freestyle. I know it sounds funny, me looking forward to the one-lap dash, but Cam is in the form of his life, and I've spoken to him since trials, and his start at trials, the dive to 15 metres was 0.2 faster than what he was at the World Championships 2 years ago, and 0.2 on a 50 is a lot. So if he can find that same swimming speed that he had at the Olympics, he has a real shot to go under that 21-second mark. And he also has this fire in his belly. He's now a dad. He's got his little son, Hartley, able to watch him at home, and I think that that's going to add a little bit of juice to him as well.
It's certainly going to hit differently, and we'll probably be one of the only ones that will be sitting there timing his start. Really looking forward to that one. Now, another thing I'm looking forward to watching is the rivalry between USA. Obviously, Australia and USA have had such an intense rivalry for such a long time, but I've actually recently read that most of their team have been taken out with food poisoning leading into these games. So how do you think that's going to affect their performance?
Yeah, they were in Thailand training, and I've been to that complex many times, and it's unusual that so many of them have been struck down by food poisoning. But I would say you have to really back the training that you've done. I think if you were to, in your head, freak out and worry about your illness, that's where your racing's going to go wrong. So trust in the training you've done, try and recover as quickly as you can, but that may actually affect their relay teams. If there's a bunch of athletes that are relay swimmers that are all sick at one time, that could affect their overall performance in the relays. But for the sake of fair competition, I do hope that they have recovered, because you don't want to win a race easy. You want to win a race when you're racing against the best.
That is our Arnie. And Nick, I hope you're looking forward to the World Swimming Championships. It kicks off tonight.
Indeed, Ellie. Thank you very much for that. And thank you to Arnie as well. Yes, here it is. It's coming our way. Our Aussie Dolphins taking on the best on the planet at the World Championships. Kaylee McEwen, Lani Pallister, Kyle Chalmers, Cam McAvoy. They're all there, as well as a host of next-gen stars. You're going to see them all exclusively on 9 and 9 Now. Now, today's heat sessions gets underway at midday Eastern on 9 Now, and night one finals begin 9 p.m. Eastern right here on 9 and 9 Gem with the women's 400 metres freestyle. That's the big draw card on night one. Let's do it. Let's head to Melbourne and dive into Wallaby camp in the aftermath of that dramatic night at the MCG. And Tate McDermott joining us on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Tate, terrific to see you, and really want to say thanks for fronting up this morning. You wake up this morning, it wasn't a bad dream. What's your reflections on last night, and how are you recovering emotionally?
Yeah, obviously disappointed, particularly at the way it kind of finished, and you know, but really proud and really thankful for the support we've had across the last 2 weeks. You know, 90,000 at the MCG, sold out Suncorp the week before. There's been a lot of Lions travellers, but there's been a hell of a lot of Wallaby supporters and Australian supporters, and you know, we're hurting, they're hurting, and you know, I guess now I just want to say thank you. And all we've got left for us, the series is obviously over, but all we got left is next week, and you know, we'll be looking to improve again to get a result.
Tate, congratulations. Last night was fantastic, mate. We've already blown up a few times on the show here today around that controversial call at the end. A couple of calls went against us. How do you guys as professional players sort of see that the day after, and how do you get yourself up for the third match in Sydney, which will be another sellout?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to accept that that's footy, and sometimes you get calls in your favour, sometimes you don't, and you know, we just got to move on quick. In terms of getting up for next week, like I said before, that's all we got left. Like you said, another sold-out crowd in Sydney, and a huge supporter base that we've got. You know, and hopefully we. You know, obviously, hopefully we put in a performance that we can be proud of again. You know, I think if we come out with the same intent we did in that first half, you know, the result will take care of itself, but we just got to do it for longer, and that's where we kind of fell off last night, unfortunately.
Tate, I know it's not easy to find the positives on a morning like today, but there was plenty of positives. Obviously, the way you played, 90,000 fans you mentioned at the MCG, the atmosphere, the way you rebounded after the first test. But how did you find the game personally? You came on as a sub, but on the wing, how did you find that?
Yeah, like you said, there's plenty of positives. I think the inclusion of Rob Valentini and Will Skelton were huge for us. The go forward we got, and the way we were able to get into the game when we struggled to in that first test, I thought that was a real positive. In terms of my role on the wing, obviously something I have done a little bit at Clubland, but never at Test footy, and yeah, it was a challenge. But you know, lucky to have the players I have around me that helped me in that role, and but yeah, I mean, like I said before, we're all hurting. But yeah, there's definitely, you know, plenty of positives we can take out of that.
Tate, thanks very much once again for joining us. Really respect the fact that you have fronted up, and all the best for Sydney.
Thanks, guys. Thank you very much.
Tate McDermott there from Wallaby Camp, and it is coming our way, the third and final test in Sydney, Saturday night. And the captain, Harry Wilson, said it last night, the Wallabies, they will harness all that emotion, all that anger, all that frustration, and they will have a massive crack at Accor Stadium on Saturday night. You're going to see every moment on 9 Now and Stan Sport. We look forward to your company on that. Stick around, more WWOS Sports to come. Last year it was Katy Perry. Now it's Snoop Dogg, all set to drop it like it's hot. The pre-match entertainment at the AFL Grand Final. World champion triathlete Matt Hauser's waiting in the wings. He'll join us on the desk shortly. And we'll do some reminiscing with Winter Olympics superstar Tora Bright and find out who she's looking out for at the Winter Games in Milano Cortina. They are just around the corner. This is Wide World of Sports. Thanks for staying with us. Let's head around the grounds. In Formula One, Oscar Piastri will start from second on the grid at the Belgian Grand Prix behind McLaren teammate Lando Norris. The pair locked in a fierce battle at the top of the Drivers' Championship standings at the halfway point of the season. Now in tennis, Alex de Minaur is locked in a battle with Corentin Moutet at the City Open in Washington. It's in the first set. De Minaur took down American Brandon Nakashima in the quarterfinals, straight set 6-4, 6-4. The Aussie number one, if he makes it through, will face either Ben Shelton or Halandro Davidovich Fokina in the final. And in some cricket this morning, the fourth T20 clash, Australia and the Windies, and currently 7 for 154 in the 14th over. So that's not a bad effort from the Windies, who are batting right now. Now we're going to talk some triathlon rather. It is a great comeback story. Australia's mixed relay team are world champions for the first time in 8 years, and Matt Hauser, he's joining us next. He is a prime reason for that.
The 2025 World Championship for the mixed team relays underway in Hamburg. And here comes Hauser. What about that for a dive?
20 seconds.
We know how good his swim is.
I'm not sure if he can give about 20 seconds, but he might be able to catch some of those athletes in front of him.
Certainly wouldn't put it past him.
Matt Hauser, 5th position out of the water.
That is fantastic, isn't it? Brilliant from Hauser. So he's made up about 13 seconds in the water, Hauser, on that swim. Hauser, Bentley, Konix, Vesterman and Graf. Who is going to prove the stronger? So Konix and Hauser. This may be a duel for the ages here. Hauser's gone. Hauser has gone. And he's laid it down. And Hauser comes home to win the World Mixed Team Relay for Australia. The first time for 8 years. That's what's happened here in 2025. Remember, he started with a 20-second deficit before the swim. And in the end, he wins doing handstands.
Matt Hauser joining us now on Wide World of Sports, and that is just basically showing off, Matt. That's
Don't know about that.
Hey, how much do you love the team format? Because all individual sportsmen love getting the chance for a relay.
For sure, yeah. Triathlon, that's very much an individual sport. Ever since the Tokyo Games in 2021, the inception of the mixed team relay has come about, and it's great to show off Australia's talent on the world stage and get another medal around the neck.
And I absolutely love that footage then of you crossing the line. Your team is there waiting for you, and you've obviously had an incredible year, and you have incredible form as well leading into the year. What do you put that down to?
Hard work and determination, kids. You won't get anywhere without it. But yeah, a lot of years of sacrifice, and probably an upset misso every now and again, having to head out the door early on in the morning. But it all comes down to moments like that where you get to enjoy it with your teammates and celebrate as a team. And yeah, as you mentioned, 8 years since we've been world champs and on top of the dais, so it's good to be back.
A year to today when the game started in France, a year to reflect. How are you feeling now?
I feel very proud to be an Olympian. I think 2021 in Tokyo left me with a bit of a sour taste and didn't really feel a part of that Olympic movement, but now I can say I've got the diploma, I've got the top 8 at the Olympics, and now to move forward into LA the next cycle, it's pretty exciting to see performances like that and to see what I'm capable of.
Yeah, Matt, you talk about that. You were 7th in the Olympics in Paris. You're now ranked number 1. What do you attribute that rise to? What has happened between then and now?
I guess just making the most of opportunities like that to perform on the world stage, I guess. It's an accumulation of years of time and experience and time on the legs and, just maturing as an athlete and also as a person, I guess. But this year I really want to focus on the World Championships, which are at home in Wollongong and on the shores of Australia. So that's a big motivator for me to really step up and to try and take the victory there. And knowing that it's the start of the 4-year cycle towards LA, it's an exciting place to be.
It is a massive event coming up in Wollongong. When you're standing on a start line in your home territory, what difference does that make, the psyche and the belief and just the mood around that race?
Yeah, I think I got to experience that in the 2018 Commonwealth Games, and that was an absolutely amazing experience and definitely pushed me to my limits and past that as well. So I think it definitely draws something out of you having the Australian crowd behind you, and there's going to be so many age group athletes and supporters down there on course cheering us on, hopefully. So it's going to be a great atmosphere.
Absolutely, and I think having your family there as well as all of your loved ones watching you. You mentioned that Tokyo left a bit of a sour taste in your mouth, obviously not having that support there. But what has that been like for you to have the support there now into the next cycle?
For sure, yeah. My parents have been like an amazing support of mine, and growing up in a small town of Hervey Bay and coming to the Gold Coast as well, I got that great community feel around me. And it's a village that raises a champion, so hopefully the village can do the same this year.
Matt, do you like being number 1? Ranked number 1?
Yeah, like the good old Aussie spirit, I think the underdog is a nice title to have. I guess, coming 7th at the Olympics last year, it kind of still is that title for mine, but I think, wearing the number 1, it's pressure that's earned, I guess. So, I'm looking to put that on my shoulders and hopefully carry Oz Triathlon back to the top of the step.
Well done. You're making some big steps so far. All the best for Wollongong as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for joining us on Wide World of Sports. Now, a special Wide World of Sports presents. We're going to talk some Winter Olympics with one of our best ever, now a 9 commentator for Milano Cortina next year, Tora Bright.
And the crowd is going nuts. The Aussies in the crowd cheering Tora.
They think it's good enough. It's a big run.
She's into the gold medal spot with a big, big score.
Tora Bright has won an Olympic gold medal with one of the most tech runs we've ever seen in snowboarding for the ladies.
And it is just an unbelievable moment for Australian sport.
15 years on from my Olympic gold medal. I guess when I think back to that moment in time, there was so many seen and unseen pressures. I remember crossing the finish line, and instead of like joy and excitement and all of that I should feel, it was absolute relief. I feel like there was so much pressure coming into that games because I was riding to the level where I should have medaled in 2006. So it was this pressure from the industry and myself to like do whatever it took to be the best without a doubt. And that's what we did, and I won every event ever since 2006. Being asked to be the flag bearer in the opening ceremony was one of the biggest honours of my life. Walking into BC Stadium, waving the flag, it was like I absolutely was more nervous than competing. I don't know how to explain it. Coming into the 2014 Olympics, it was a very different journey for me. I didn't want to go back to just try and best my best.
Reigning Olympic halfpipe champion Tora Bright adding the new snowboard, cross and slopestyle to her program in Russia.
The point was to bring exposure to the sport that I loved so much. It was to keep me on the mountain and happy, and I came home with a silver medal. And that silver medal to me almost is more rewarding than the gold in a way, because I don't know, there was just so much that took to get there. And now we have Val, who's attempting a similar kind of feat with 3 events.
There we go. He's off and running. It's Valentino time.
In his snowboarding, he's just like an explosive rider. His amplitude is out of this world. He holds a world record for, the highest air. You can't limit somebody like him. You've just got to enjoy the ride, and he will blow your mind.
Wow! So she just went double 10 on him.
Oh my goodness.
Tess is a rider's favorite. She is such an incredible personality and gives so much to snowboarding. Her creativity in rails and trickery, has one of the best backside 900s in the game, and so well respected. First Olympics, she had the experience, had an injury. Second Olympics with the bronze, and now she's here for the third, and she's going to be back and strong and ready for these games.
Count at 3, 1260, switch back to up 12.
Scotty James is not messing around.
Scotty James, heading into his 5th games. He is the veteran. He has created such an incredible career. He is going to put everything out there because he's going for gold. I don't know how I'm going to watch without covering my eyes at the same time. He is definitely going to be one to watch out for.
This is an Aussie alert. Australian cyclist Ben O'Connor and Caden Groves have claimed stage victories in the Tour de France this week. On Thursday, O'Connor won stage 18 of the Tour, notoriously one of the most challenging climbs in cycling. The stage win is O'Connor's 2nd of his career. And overnight, Caden Groves claimed his maiden Tour de France success, taking out stage 20 of the back of a stunning solo attack with 16 kilometres remaining. The win completes Groves' set of Grand Tour stage wins. You can see what it meant to him as well. There is a bit of emotion there. We're going to talk some NRL right now, and Billy Slater joining us. Bill, good to see you, as always. The Panthers. So they're now just 3 points off some really heavy territory at the top.
Yeah.
Was this always going to happen? At the start of the season, they're done, they're dusted. But did you always know that it was going to be the Panthers?
Well, 2 months ago, we were sitting here talking about are the Panthers going to run last. Yeah. They were sitting in last position only about 2 or 3 months ago. And it's an incredible turnaround. They've won 7 straight now, and they're sitting in 5th position. And like you say, they're on the brink of a top 4 position going into the finals. The one thing that I've loved about the Panthers is their ability to develop their players. And it's in 3 different categories. You look at their top tier, the Dylan Edwards, Nathan Cleary, they're developing their leadership and their top-end game. And then you've got the middle guys like the Lindsay Smiths who are just jumping out of the ground and playing consistent football. And then these young guys, Jenkins, McLean, Blaze Talangi, they are just a system that continually evolves, and they are right in the race. They know how to get it done in September, and it looks like they're going to be there.
Talking about a comeback, Mitch Moses came back for Parramatta on Friday night and a good win against the Broncos. What do you make of his performance?
Yeah, good players make a difference, especially in key positions. I thought his kicking game was outstanding, and there's something happening at Parramatta. I know they're down the bottom of the ladder, but this was an upset, and they really earned this upset. They didn't fluke it. I think Jason Rolls is instilling some great qualities into the principles of their game, and they're starting to get the rewards. If you're a Parramatta fan, stick with them. There's some shiny moments ahead of them. They nearly undone it. Reece Walsh was millimetres offside, but it was an entertaining game, and I thought the best team won.
Now, speaking of something pretty concerning, Jerome Hughes, he left the field on Thursday night with what looks to be a pretty serious shoulder injury, but the Storm, they're pretty confident that his season's not over yet.
Well, it is a serious shoulder injury. When you dislocate your shoulder and it stays out for a period of time until you get to the hospital and it goes back in, quite painful. Look, it could have been devastating. It could have been disastrous for the Melbourne Storm, and that would have been the season over for Jerome Hughes. It was a clean pop out and went back in, so it's still going to take at least 4 to 6 weeks to give him the opportunity to see if he can get back for the finals. That's still not guaranteed, but there was some positive news, so hopefully he can get back. He's an integral part of the Melbourne Storm. He's a reigning Dally M medalist, and if they can get him back on the field, their premiership hopes will rise.
And they still won that game, didn't they?
They did. It was a brave effort.
No need to discuss that.
Oh, sorry.
We moved on. That was Thursday night.
Oh, sorry.
Kevy Walters is the Kangaroos coach.
Yeah.
So he's got it for 3 games, and obviously the tour, the Ashes at the end of the year. Good on Kevy, eh?
Absolutely. We all know Kevy can coach. He's a great guy. He's a very passionate guy, whether it's the Broncos, Queensland, or for Australia. He's played a dozen games for Australia himself. He knows what it's like. He's actually played in the Super League over at Warrington. So he'll know the environment. He'll know how to get his players up, and you're working with the best players. So in a sense, coaching becomes secondary. It's just about getting them together, building an environment. And as you can see there, Kevy loves an environment. So, good luck to Kev. I think he'll do a great job.
And before we let you go, Bulldogs Seagulls this afternoon. Yeah. Bulldogs too strong?
Ooh, Sea Eagles beat the Melbourne Storm a couple of weeks ago. Couldn't get the job done last week. And it's a celebration of 30 years since that epic grand final. I think it was Terry Lamb's last game at the SCG, which is at Allianz now. It's going to be a big crowd, great day out there. I think it's going to be a great game.
A bit to it. Thanks, Billy. Appreciate
Thank you.
it. All right, Billy Slater joining us on Wired World of Sports. Quick break. We are not quite done. See you soon. Thanks for staying with us. We're going to leave you with this. Now, this is the classic Wallabies and the Lions legends at Amy Park on Thursday night. That's former Wallaby Drew Mitchell. And not surprisingly, there were muscles popping all over the place. Look at this. He's in open space, thinks he is, and then, right there, the hand he goes. But it's all right. So Drew just wanders over. His mate gives him a pint. He necks it. And all is good with the world. I saw Drew last night, and that hobble is still going. So there is a whole lot to look forward to. Look, that's on Stan Sport. England and Spain in the final of the Women's Euros for 2025. You can see that from 1:50 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. And, of course, the swimming. We were talking with Arnie about that. And plenty happening there from today, 12 p.m. Eastern. The heats and then the finals all the way through the week. Guys, thanks very much for your company today. And thank you for joining us right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. We'll see you soon.